Okay guys, so in the last video I came up with a list of exercises that I wanted you to carry out over the next few weeks whilst you familiarize yourself with the depth of market before we actually move on into the pro course. And what I thought I'd do is I'd actually split this out into a nice little timetable for you that I think is optimal for you to follow, and I'm going to do a series of videos highlighting each thing. So this was obviously the slide that it's a terrible squiggle, but it's the slide that I'd put on the last video where I said, look, I want you to do this series of steps. So what I've decided to do now is actually be a bit more precise with these steps and show you some examples, because I think that's going to be the best way to get you on your way. So if I just quickly, I've got one more slide in this video, and then we're going to move right on to real examples. So what I've done is I've split the same bullet points on the previous page into a nice little timetable that I think is optimal for you to follow. So for example, you might spend, a week doing part A, a week doing part B, a week doing part C. So let's just put here, this is just an example. Obviously, if you work or if you have more time on your hands, then the timetable is going to be slightly different. So this will be a timetable within the timetable. I think in one of the very first modules, there's a timetable I wanted you to put together where you would dedicate time to the depth of market, dedicate time to obviously footprint, volume profile, and so on and so forth. That'll be a several month timetable, maybe 6, 7, 12 months even. This timetable is within the depth of market timetable. So for example, if you decided, right, you know what, I'm going to put 2 months aside now where I'm going to focus on understanding what's going on in the depth of market, within that 2 months, 6 to 8 weeks, for example, this is what I want you to do. So let's come up with an example timetable together, and then I'm going to do videos on each section. So this could be, say, week 1 to maybe week 2 or even 3, because obviously you're just familiarizing yourself for the first time. So what I want you to do is, this is part A, which is going to be, so you saw on the previous slide, understanding market orders versus pending orders. And what I've decided is, even though I said to you I don't want you placing any trades, because you can do it on the simulator, what I think is the best way for you to understand market orders versus pending orders is I'm going to show you, so I'm going to do a video showing you how you can actually place orders on the depth of market itself, place market orders and place pending orders. So you can actually be the aggressor or the person that's sitting on the bid or offer passively. It's going to be the best way for you to learn. So yeah, that comes on to the second part of the same topic, which is understanding the difference between, someone showing aggression on the depth of market and someone still wanting to buy or sell, but doing it a little bit more passively. So again, we'll do this by placing those orders. So I'm going to show you in the next video, which is going to be video A, how to actually place orders on your Sierra chart depth of market. And even if you don't use Sierra chart, you've got managed to get yourself a depth of market somewhere else, should be pretty much the same process. So let's aim for at least, and I would say minimum, I would say a couple of weeks. If you can be doing this particular process, that'd be great. Then let's spend maybe another week, so this could be week 3, just looking at supply side games and consolidating what you've learned in video A. So really understanding the aggression versus sitting passively on the bid or offer, and then understanding how bids and offers are constantly being manipulated and what effect that might have. So I've put a quick video together for that as well. So maybe you can spend a good 1 to 2 weeks again doing that. Again, it would depend on your schedule. If it takes you longer, in my opinion, the longer the better. I don't necessarily use the depth of market myself very much, but again, like I said, this is going to give you a great grounding. Then I want you to understand absorption. So again, So the supply side games is just really by observing it, and then with the absorption, this won't really make sense now until I show you an example. So in video C, I want you to really understand what it means to absorb supply and demand. Won't get into it now, but we'll get into it in the video. So I want you to spend a good couple of weeks consolidating what you've learned in the first two parts and combining that with the absorption. So that could be week 5 to 6. And finally, I've put together an example where I'm actually bringing everything together. So I'm actually going to do a trade on the depth of market, and I want you to follow that, and that will involve actually placing trades on the simulator. So as you can see, even though I'm not a big fan of you placing trades on the simulator for quite some time, I want you to do this exercise not necessarily with a view to making money. I want you to do it with a view to bettering your understanding. And I think by placing some simulated trades, again, without the pressure of, I'll have to perform at the end of this process. No, remember, the goal of you placing simulator trades in this section is all about bettering your understanding of what is going on at the core of the market behind the chart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain to you the sort of things I'm looking for around the volume profile on a depth of market. Okay, now this is more to do with the style of trading that I used to trade historically in a past life, and actually in a lot of professional firms, if they're focused heavily on the depth of market, then as you see here, I've got several exercises. I want you to understand aggression, supply side games, absorption. Guys, this list can be fairly extensive. It can also include all the game playing that people play and on the depth of market. Now, I haven't included any of that. The reason being because the landscape has changed now, and algorithms are generally the most active, if not, I would say, a significant proportion of the supply and demand. The supply side that you see. So the depth. So they call it depth of market because it's showing you the depth on the bid and the offer. Now, around, I would say 60, 70, 80% of that is computers and algorithms. They're very fast. So, in my opinion, trading on the depth of market is no longer the most optimal way to trade. I actually think the best way to trade is using volume profile and VWAP, volume weighted average price, and some other techniques on a volume chart. And obviously that's much more advanced level, which we'll do in the pro course. However, guys, don't underestimate how doing these simple 4-5 steps over a 2-3 month period, 6 months if you can, guys, is gonna make you phenomenal when you come to trading volume profile on a chart, because you're going to understand how this thing builds. So I'm going to give you a little glimpse into how I used to trade it on a depth of market. I don't necessarily trade it like this anymore. I trade very similar to this, but I do it on a chart now, and I get much better results actually doing it that way. But I don't think it would have been possible unless I'd spent so much time doing these elements. So, to summarize, I may have been looking at 10, 15, 20 elements on a depth of market. I've picked out the most important 4, and I want you guys to focus on those, because the other 15, 16 elements or whatever it was that I used to look at, I don't necessarily think they're that important unless you're going to be trading on a depth of market full time. And again, I don't necessarily want you to do that. I don't do it. Doesn't really make sense for you to do it. But let's focus on the 4-5 elements that are really important and gonna, like I say, make you world-class traders when it comes to just looking at the profile and footprint and the VWAP, etc., etc. There'll be a few other things, obviously nuances that you'll learn on the way, and obviously it's gonna really deepen your understanding of what's going on behind the charts when you're trading using charts. So I'm going to show you the things I've historically looked at in the volume profile. We're going to do some example. I'm going to take some sim trades myself on the same trial package that you use on Sierra. And then finally, I haven't actually done this yet because we're in the middle of the obviously norovirus, and I've taken a step back from the markets just for a few trading sessions. But what I'm going to do as soon as I'm back in the market is I'm going to try and show you some depth of market action around some of the levels, contextual levels that I look at in the currency market. But I'm going to show you that on the depth of market, and actually it's very similar to what I'll show you in video D with the example. I'm going to show you that on the against the Discord levels. It's very similar. It's showing you how buyers and sellers are getting trapped, and then obviously I'm taking advantage of that. So I'm going to show you that, but the reason I'm pretty relaxed about this section, it's not urgent, is because so I didn't put the time frame here. This, guys, I want you to be spending a good 2-3 weeks on. So you can see this is going to take you to week 7 to 9. You're already 2 months plus before you even get to this section where you're going to be looking at my Discord and looking at the depth of market against it. It's going to be a good 2 months, and in my opinion it should be longer. Just depends how dedicated you are. Like I said, split the sessions up into 30 minutes. I know it's hard to look at a depth of market, record it, come back to it, excuse me, and then after the 2 month period I would say focus on this. So that's reason A why. So A is, it's going to be a period of time before you even get to this section. That's why I'm quite relaxed about putting up videos here and you even looking at these. But there's another big reason, B is, and essentially that's to do with your understanding. So essentially all of this, I'm sure people aren't going to follow my advice, and that's obviously up to you, but I only want you to do this on 10-year treasuries. Guys, the other markets are way too fast. It's going to be very difficult for you to understand any of this stuff on any of the other markets. It took me several months of staring at this thing every day for hours on end and doing practice on weekend before I could even move on from the treasuries, because the other markets are very fast. The other thing you've got to understand, especially in recent times, is because algorithms are obviously much more prominent, the markets are even faster than they used to be. So it's going to take you a considerable amount of screen time working on not slower, but thicker markets, and that's what makes them slower. Ironically, more liquid markets, i.e. the treasuries. Before you understand this, now the Discord levels, I'm doing them on things like the pound, right? Essentially, the pound on a depth of market is very fast. So for example, absorption, I can show you absorption on the treasuries over one price. Absorption on pound dollar, for example, may happen over 5 prices. The market is doing the same thing over 5 prices. So you can imagine your eye coordination with watching what's going on has got to be incredibly fast. Anyone can do it, you can do it, but I'm just saying it's going to take you time to build the skill set to do that. So that's why I'm pretty relaxed about this section. Take your time doing these first 3 or 4 skills, learn them thoroughly, and then once you're comfortable with these and you've done it plenty of times, then move on to watching the depth of market in the currencies, because you'll be more you'll have adapted obviously to the things you're looking for, and you'll be able to see them in a faster action depth of market, which is what the pound is going to be like. So anyway, we'll get on. Watch the next series of videos. Like I said, try not to watch them all at once. You can if you want, but really I want you to split them out and make your own timetable over the next 7, 8, 9 weeks. And then even longer, because obviously I want you to also spend good 2 to 3 weeks doing this last section. It's fairly conceivable that you could be spending up to 3 months doing this. Now you might be thinking 3 months, guys, 3 months is actually on the short end of what I would ideally, or a professional firm would have you doing this. You know, like I said, I spent up to a year, 6, 9, 12 months even before I even started looking at charts. Granted, they wanted me to be profitable on the depth of market. I don't want you to do that. I don't necessarily want you making money on the depth of market. I just want you to understand the core foundations of what makes the volume profile, the VWAP, the market, what actually makes the market move. All of this, you're going to get a great understanding of depth of market. So yeah, it can be considerably shorter than what I spent, 1 year, but 3 months is still a very short period of time. Ideally, I'd want you doing this for 6 months. If you can, great. If not, that's fine. At least do the bare minimum, which is 10 to 12 weeks. See how you get on. If you've got any questions, let me know. Otherwise, let's get on with some exciting stuff. Let's get you actually placing trades on the depth of market, guys. All right, enjoy the section.